Long. Long.
A long table. Long hair.
The longest tunnel in the world.
He stretched out his long legs.
A long line of people.
A long distance.
Springfield is a long way from Chicago. Liz lives in Cheltenham, which is a long way away.
It's a long walk to the shops from here.
A long period of time. A long history of success. He has a long memory. He's been gone a long time. I haven't been there for a long while. She died a long time ago. It took a long time to get everything ready. There was a long silence before anybody spoke. She's recovering from a long illness. Doctors often work long hours.
It took me the longest time to figure out how to open the windows.
How long is your garden?
How long is the film?
The cable is not quite long enough. The bridge is 140 feet long. The speech was 20 minutes long.
A long novel.
A long list.
He has a very long name.
He owes money to a list of people as long as your arm.
A long dress.
A long-sleeved shirt.
It's been a long day.
How long will it take to finish the project? How long is a piece of string? How long will it take to finish the project? How long is a piece of string?
The long and the short of it is that we missed the train. The long and the short of it is that we missed the train.
He won't escape the long arm of the law.
I'm getting a bit long in the tooth for this sort of thing.
He was short on patience, but long on a sense of his own worth.
All our hard work will be worth it in the long run.
Chelsea are a 20-1 long shot to win the championship.
We're still a long way from achieving our sales targets. Psychiatry has come a long way since the 1920s. Your contributions will go a long way towards helping children in need. He had not told Rory everything, not by a long shot.
Have you been waiting long?
Reform of the law is long overdue.
Long-established traditions.
How long will it take to get there?
Try to keep going for as long as possible.
It took me longer than I thought it would.
This all happened long before you were born.
He should have left her long ago. It wasn't long before Lisa arrived. He should have left her long ago. It wasn't long before Lisa arrived.
Have you known them for long?
I haven't seen her for so long that I've forgotten what she looks like.
You can go out to play as long as you stay in the backyard.
As long as we keep playing well, we'll keep winning games.
You can stay for as long as you want. She tried to stay awake for as long as she could.
The fruit should be left on the tree as long as possible.
The extra workers won't be needed any longer.
It's no longer a secret.
Before long, a large crowd had gathered outside the building.
It's likely that the law will be abolished before long.
Wait here, I won't be long.
Dinner won't be long. Long live the king! He longed to see her again. She longed for the chance to speak to him in private.
She longed for him to return.
Long awaited.
Long awaited.
The long-awaited news of his release from prison.
Longbow.
Longbow.
Long distance.
Long distance.
Long division.
Long division.
Long drawn out.
Long drawn out.
The official inquiry was a long drawn-out process.
Longed for.
Longed for.
The birth of her first longed-for child.
Longevity.
Longevity.
The greater longevity of women compared with men.
The worms have a longevity of about 2 years.
The ancient Chinese claimed that garlic promoted longevity. The ancient Chinese claimed that garlic promoted longevity.
The longevity of an athlete's career.
Longhand.
Longhand.
Long haul.
Long haul.
Longhorn.
Longhorn.
Longing.
Longing.
She looked back with longing on the good old days.
His heart was filled with longing for Cynthia.
She felt a longing to throw herself into his arms. She thought longingly of returning to Paris.
He looked longingly at the tray of cakes.
Longingly.
Longingly.
She thought longingly of returning to Paris.
He looked longingly at the tray of cakes.
Longish.
Longish.
Longitude.
Longitude.
The town lies at longitude 12 degrees east.
Longitudinal.
Longitudinal.
A longitudinal study of unemployed workers.
Longitudinal stripes.
Long johns.
Long johns.
Long jump.
Long jump.
Long lasting.
Long lasting.
The impact of divorce on children can be long-lasting.
Long life.
Long life.
Long life batteries.
Long-life milk.
Long-lived.
Long-lived.
Ostriches are long-lived birds.
The band's long-lived appeal.
Long lost.
Long lost.
Long-lost treasures.
Long-playing record.
Long-playing record.
Long range.
Long range.
Long-range nuclear missiles. He scored with a long-range shot.
A long-range weather forecast.
The long-range goal of the project.
Long running.
Long running.
A long-running saga.
She was involved in a long-running legal battle.
Long-serving.
Long-serving.
A long-serving member of the committee.
Longshoreman.
Longshoreman.
Long-sighted.
Long-sighted.
Long standing.
Long standing.
A long-standing member of the committee.
A long-standing feud between the two families.
The long-standing problem of keeping costs down.
I have a long-standing arrangement with the bank.
Long stay.
Long stay.
Long suffering.
Long suffering.
His long-suffering wife.
Long term.
Long term.
The long-term future of the fishing industry.
The long-term interests of the company.
The long-term effects of alcohol on the body.
Long time.
Long time.
A long-time supporter of civil rights.
Long wave.
Long wave.
Long winded.
Long winded.
His speeches tend to be rather long-winded.
Loo.
Loo.
I need to go to the loo.
Loofah.
Look. Look.
We sneaked out while Jessie's mom wasn't looking.
If you look carefully, you can see that the painting represents a human figure. Gina covered her eyes, afraid to look.
It's time we left, Ian said, looking at his watch.
The men all turned to look at her as she entered the room. Dad looked up from his paper and smiled.
We can't go out in this weather, said Bob, looking out of the window. I looked everywhere, but Jimmy was nowhere to be found.
Could you help me look for my contact lens? If you're looking for a bargain, try the local market.
Try looking under the bed.
From the way things look at the moment, the Republicans are unlikely to win this election.
The future's looking good. It looks as if it might rain later.
It looks like they won't be needing us anymore.
You made me look really stupid in front of all my friends.
How do I look?
You look tired. You should go to bed.
He looked as if he hadn't washed for a week.
What did the man look like?
My sister doesn't look anything like me.
Owen didn't dare look his father in the eye.
He looks down his nose at anyone foreign.
Prison guards looked the other way as the man was attacked by fellow prisoners. Want a quiet country retreat for your weekend break? Then look no further.
The cabin looks east, so we get the morning sun.
We're looking to buy a new car early next year.
Look under the bonnet of the company before investing in it.
Look, there's a fox.
Look, why don't you think about it and give me your answer tomorrow?
Look, I've had enough of this. I'm going home.
Look out, there's a car coming. Look at that. What a horrible mess.
Well, look who's here. It's Jill and Paul.
Oh, no! Don't look now, but here comes Tony.
Look where you're putting your feet. There's mud all over the carpet. Look where you're putting your feet. There's mud all over the carpet.
Look what you've done. My jacket's ruined.
Look here, you can't say things like that to me.
Can I help you? No, thanks. I'm just looking.
Don't worry, I'll look after the kids tomorrow.
Susan looked after us very well. She's an excellent cook.
You could tell that the horse had been well looked after. You could tell that the horse had been well looked after.
I'm leaving you here to look after the business until I get back.
Don't worry about Maisie. She can look after herself.
Looking ahead, we must expect radical changes to be made in our system of government.
Jason's going to start looking around for a new job.
Do we have to pay to look around the castle? Do we have to pay to look around the castle?
Let's look round the shops.
The twins looked at each other and smiled.
I really can't comment on the report. I haven't had time to look at it yet. I really can't comment on the report. I haven't had time to look at it yet.
You should get the doctor to look at that cut.
Can you look at my car? There's a strange noise coming from the front wheel.
We need to look very carefully at ways of improving our efficiency.
You don't have to be smart to be good at music. Look at Gary. I'd like to be friends again, but Richard doesn't look at it that way.
When I look back on those days, I realize I was desperately unhappy.
Looking back on it, I still can't figure out what went wrong.
After winning the scholarship, he never looked back.
Mr. Garcia looks down on anyone who hasn't had a college education. I'm looking for Steve. Have you seen him? Detectives are still looking for the escaped prisoner. I'm sorry, we're really looking for someone with no family commitments. Salubrious! That's just the word I was looking for.
They walked into a bar looking for trouble.
I'm really looking forward to our vacation.
My mother says she's looking forward to meeting you.
I promised to look in on Dad and see if he's feeling any better.
Police are looking into the disappearance of 2 children.
Only one man tried to help us. The rest just looked on in silence.
I look on him as a good friend. Strangers to the village are looked upon with a mixture of fear and suspicion.
I'll look out some of my old books for you.
Look out for your aunt while you're at the station. He's looking out for a nice apartment downtown.
My older brother always looked out for me when we were kids.
Do you have a few minutes to look these samples over? I've looked through all my papers, but I still can't find the contract.
I saw Fiona in the street yesterday, and she looked straight through me. I saw Fiona in the street yesterday, and she looked straight through me. We look to you for support.
They're looking to the new manager to make the company profitable. We must look to our defences.
Now the summer's here, things are looking up.
Look the word up in your dictionary.
I'll just look up the train times.
Don't forget to look me up when you come to Atlanta.
I've always looked up to Bill for his courage and determination.
Let me have a look at that. I think it's mine.
Take a good look at the photo and see if you recognize anyone in it.
I took one look at the coat and decided it wasn't worth £50.
I have a special interest in old houses. Do you mind if I take a look around?
Mike gave him such a severe look he didn't dare argue.
Why has Jake been giving me dirty looks all morning?
Have you had a chance to take a look at my proposal yet?
I asked the vet to have a quick look at the puppies as well. It's time to take a fresh look at the old problem of low pay.
This month, take a long, hard look at where your money is going.
I can't find them anywhere. Have a look yourself.
She had a good look through the files.
The area has a very seedy look to it.
Mr. Flynn had a tired, ill look in his eyes. We should turn back now. It's getting dark and I don't like the look of those rain clouds.
The neighbours are back from holiday by the looks of it. I don't like the look of this new policy.
Fiona's got everything. Looks, money, and youth.
You get your good looks from your mother.
When she lost her looks, she found it difficult to get work.
The hippie look is back again.
Look-alike.
Look-alike.
A Madonna look-alike.
Looker.
Looker.
Look-in.
Look-in.
Arsenal barely got a look-in during the second half of the match.
Looking-glass.
Looking-glass.
Look-out.
Look-out.
We're always on the lookout for new business opportunities.
Police were on the lookout for anyone behaving suspiciously.
We were instructed to keep a lookout for enemy aircraft. When you're driving, keep a sharp lookout for cyclists.
If he wants to keep seeing her, that's his lookout.
Look-see.
Look-see.
Loom.
Loom.
Suddenly, a mountain loomed up in front of them.
An economic crisis is looming on the horizon.
Fear of failure loomed large in his mind.
Loon.
Loon.
Loony.
Loony.
Her brother's a complete loony.
A loony idea.
Loony bin.
Loony bin.
Loop.
The loop.
Loop.
A loop of wire held the gate shut. He looped the rope over the post. The ball looped over the goalkeeper into the back of the net.
Keep me looped in on any further developments.
Loophole.
Loophole.
A loophole in the law.
Loopy.
Loopy.
Loose. Loose.
A loose floorboard. This tooth feels very loose.
The screw has come loose.
Loose papers.
His rear wheels spun on the loose stones.
The potatoes are sold loose.
The driver had forgotten to fasten the safety chain, and the trailer came loose. The driver had forgotten to fasten the safety chain, and the trailer came loose. A loose knot.
Her hair fell loose around her shoulders.
A loose sweatshirt. A 34-year-old inmate broke loose from the sheriff's office yesterday.
Don't let your dog loose on the beach.
A loose interpretation of the law.
A loose translation. A loose federation of political groups. Loose arrangement.
Sheringham was the first player to reach the loose ball.
He cut himself loose from the constraints of family life. I'm ready to cut loose and enjoy the weekend.
She let loose a string of four-letter words.
Whatever you do, don't let Derek loose on the garden.
I was at a loose end, so I decided to go and see an old movie. I was at a loose end, so I decided to go and see an old movie.
We've nearly finished, but there are still a few loose ends to be tied up.
Loose bowels. A loose woman.
Loose morals.
There's been a bit of loose talk about it.
And now the anger Maggie had feared was loosed. The evils loosed upon humanity in World War II. Loose-fitting.
A loose-fitting jacket.
Loose-fitting.
Loose leaf.
Loose leaf.
Loosely.
Loosely.
A towel was loosely wrapped around his neck.
The film is loosely based on the novel.
El Libre was loosely translated as the Free One, a loosely structured organization.
Loosen.
Loosen.
You'll need a spanner to loosen that bolt.
The screws have loosened.
Harry loosened his tie.
Congress has loosened the restrictions on immigration.
The government has loosened its hold on the media considerably.
He loosened his grip on David's arm.
She loosened up after she'd had a drink. She loosened up after she'd had a drink.
His welcoming smile helped loosen her up.
A massage will loosen up your joints. A massage will loosen up your joints.
Loot.
Loot.
Shops were looted and burned.
Jody came home from the mall with bags of loot. Jody came home from the mall with bags of loot.
Lop.
Lop.
Workmen have lopped off more branches in an effort to save the tree. Workmen have lopped off more branches in an effort to save the tree.
They lopped £16 off the price. Citicorp plans to lop $1.5 billion a year from its operating costs. Citicorp plans to lop $1.5 billion a year from its operating costs. Citicorp plans to lop $1.5 billion a year from its operating costs.
Lope.
Lope.
He loped off down the corridor.
Lopsided.
Lopsided.
A lopsided grin.
A lopsided 8-0 victory.
Loquacious.
Loquacious.
Lord.
Lord.
Thank you, Lord, for your blessings.
The Lord helps and guides us.
Lord knows how old she is now.
Lord only knows I tried my best to get this right.
Good Lord, is that the time?
Lord Mayor of London.
Lord Salisbury.
The feudal lords.
He didn't use his position on the council to lord it over people.
Lordly.
Lordly.
A lordly disdain for the common man.
A lordly feast.
Lords.
Lords.
Lordship.
Lordship.
So when will his lordship be back?
Lord's Prayer.
Lord's Prayer.
Law.
Lore.
According to local law, a ghost still haunts the castle.
Lorry.
Lorry.
Lose.
Lose.
I've lost my appetite. The business community has lost confidence in the government.
Carol lost interest in ballet in her teens.
Try not to lose heart. There are plenty of other jobs.
A settlement was reached in which neither side lost face. You're looking slim. Have you lost weight?
The plane emptied its fuel tanks as it started losing altitude.
Mr. Ayer may lose the sight in one eye. The tour was postponed when the lead singer lost his voice.
Julian lost his balance and fell.
This latest movie proves Altman is by no means losing his touch. This latest movie proves Altman is by no means losing his touch.
By the time the ambulance arrived, Douglas had lost consciousness.
When he was writing, he lost all sense of time. We must never lose sight of the fact that man must work in harmony with nature. When he was writing, he lost all sense of time.
They played so badly they deserved to lose.
Klinger lost his seat in the election.
Arkansas just lost 3 games in a row.
He just can't bear to lose an argument. He just can't bear to lose an argument.
The Beavers have dropped only 1 game since losing to Oregon in January.
The government lost by 1 vote.
The communist candidate lost by a whisker.
Freddie died in 1982 after losing his battle against AIDS.
It was a rash decision and it lost him the race.
I've lost the tickets for tonight's show. I followed her on foot but lost her in the crowd.
It was thought the manuscript had been lost forever.
The parcel must have got lost in the post.
He lost track of her after her family moved away.
Don't try to walk in a heavy snowstorm, as you may lose sight of your vehicle.
David's very upset about losing his job.
Hundreds of people lost their homes in the floods. My family lost everything in the war.
He was over the limit and will lose his license. He was over the limit and will lose his license.
90 naval aircraft were lost and 30 damaged.
If you hesitate, you may lose the opportunity to compete altogether.
We were losing customers to cheaper rivals.
She was about to lose her husband to a younger woman.
California has lost 90% of its wetlands to development.
He lost his leg in a motorcycle accident. He lost his leg in a motorcycle accident.
He's lost a lot of blood, but his life is not in danger.
The mistakes which lost him his kingdom.
A memorial to honor those who lost their lives in the war.
One woman in Brooklyn lost a husband and 2 sons in the gang wars.
Sadly, Anna lost the baby.
He lost his father to cancer last year. He lost his father to cancer last year.
Peter was lost at sea when his ship sank.
The company is in debt after losing an estimated $30 million on its .com enterprise. The company is in debt after losing an estimated $30 million on its .com enterprise.
Creditors and investors stand to lose vast sums after the company's collapse.
A lot of people lost their shirts on Ferraris in the 80s.
It's a great deal. We can't lose. The stock market crash lost the bank £70 million.
You might as well apply for the job. You've got nothing to lose.
The working class has nothing to lose but its chains.
These youngsters know they have too much to lose by protesting against the system.
Vital minutes were lost because the ambulance took half an hour to arrive.
In 1978, 29 million days were lost in industrial action.
Come on, there's no time to lose.
Murdoch lost no time in taking out a patent for his invention. Murdoch lost no time in taking out a patent for his invention.
I lost my way in the network of tiny alleys.
The company seems to have lost its way of late.
I've lost touch with all my old school friends.
They lost touch when Di got married and moved away.
They claim the Prime Minister has lost touch with the party.
It sometimes appears that the planners have lost touch with reality.
Diana was determined not to lose her temper with him.
You've all heard that Nadal lost his head over a girl.
Nicholas looked at her as if she'd lost her mind.
She completely lost it with one of the kids in class.
I could see people thinking I'd totally lost the plot.
She listened intently to the music, losing herself in its beauty.
There's a better chance of losing him if we take the back route.
Explain it again, you've lost me already.
You could lose the last paragraph to make it fit on one page.
The joke loses something in the translation.
The deal will ensure that shareholders do not lose out financially.
He lost out to Roy Scheider for the lead role. He lost out to Roy Scheider for the lead role.
Workers who don't take up training may lose out on promotion. Workers who don't take up training may lose out on promotion.